Jack Sutton. Today, we're talking with radio student Mara Vickers. So, I met Mara a little while ago because as a journalism student, it's the radio students who operate the soundboard and do all the radio programming and make our news happen. So, they're pretty integral to what we do in my program. Um, but I didn't really know too much about them or what they do. So, Mara's going to tell us a little bit more about that. So, hi, Mara, how are you?
Doing okay. Bit
Good.
snowy out, but
Yeah, terrible weather. Did you have to come far today?
10-minute walk.
Oh, not bad.
Wasn't terrible. The only thing I was worried about was slipping.
It was slippery this morning, wasn't it? I was trying to get into my Uber today, and like my leg just went right out from under me.
Did the Uber driver laugh?
No, he
They did a
didn't really
good
show
job.
any emotions whatsoever. No concern, no laughter. All right, so Mara, you're in radio. Um, I have to say, I was really surprised when I found out that like radio was a program. Not like no offense to radio students. I think what
You
you
know,
guys do is so cool.
a lot of people same reaction. They're like, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
right. I was thinking like growing up listening to the radio, it never once occurred to me that like that's a career. Like I heard these people and I'm like, obviously they get paid, but I never really connected the
No,
dots.
you
That,
think
like,
that's straight out of high school. You just kind of go and you're like, hire me?
yeah. So why did you choose radio? Did you always want to do that?
I mean, I'd always been told I had a good voice for it.
Mhm.
And the more, like, originally, I was like, I'm not going to do it because people are telling me to do it. You know, it's not like,
Mhm.
I'm not going to do it if you're telling me to. But then I thought about it and went, that'd be really fun, though. Because, like, you hear the radio,
Mhm.
and I'm not the most extroverted person, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I can handle talking through something. So I'm like, that would be good. That'd be good for me.
It's so true though. Like the amount of people I think in radio and journalism who are maybe not the most outgoing, it's different.
Literally, it is.
Like sitting behind a microphone, you don't really feel like it's like you're
But
performing in the mirror.
it's counterintuitive. You'd think
Mhm.
that if you're talking to a microphone, you must be the most outgoing person, but that's what the microphone's for. You can be really
Exactly.
quiet. It
Exactly.
does the work for you.
Yeah, and I guess you guys don't really do any on-camera stuff, really, do you?
Only if it's like a side thing. Only
Okay.
like this on camera. Second time I've ever been on camera.
True, yeah.
Yeah. Usually yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. So so you were told you kind of had a good voice for radio. Um was radio something that you kind of followed throughout your life? Like did you listen to it a lot?
A lot more during COVID, actually.
Oh,
Like
true.
that,
Okay.
I know radio as a whole had a big uptick in listenership because everyone was stuck at home.
Mhm.
But then radio was one of the consistent things where there's always someone talking to you.
Yeah, and I guess it's one of those jobs too that probably didn't change much with COVID because you're just sitting in a booth alone. There probably weren't many changes.
I think there were little changes, just
Yeah.
like less people at the actual station. I think they're
Mhm.
still getting used to more people coming back because a lot
Yeah.
of stuff you can do online. So you
Oh,
can do it
true.
from home. Except unless you're on air, then yeah, you have to be there.
True. It would be difficult, I think, to do that remotely. Um, okay, so that just brought up an interesting point. You were in high school during COVID. Total sidetrack right here, but this is so interesting to me. I missed the whole COVID thing. I was in Japan for all of it. I don't know what was happening here. I had no important milestones I missed because of it. But you were in high school.
I missed like 3 quarters of high school.
Oh my God.
Hit semester 1 of grade 9, and it really stopped maybe first half of grade 12. Like I think we had a solid full grade 12, so maybe
Wow.
second half grade 11 actually.
Wow. Okay, so you really missed out on like a pretty big
No, I think I was the
experience.
worst year. Like other
Really?
people, they missed their prom. We got prom, but we missed everything else.
Well, I'm sure you didn't miss much. When I think of the first 3 years of high school, it was mostly just homework, the occasional school trip. So I don't know, how did that work? Did it get like lonely at all in those 3 years of?
I mean, I got very lucky
Yeah.
because one of my best friends is actually my neighbor. Like we actually changed our fence.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a fence. We turned it into a fence, like a gate. It opens.
That's cute.
So like all of high school, we had our bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were only allowed to see like the same 5 people.
Yeah.
We just had each other as our bubbles. So at
Right.
least we could hang out with each other. But other people, I know it was rough.
Yeah. No. I mean, I saw some people not really following those rules, but
Then we could see everyone like on like the driveway parties, and they
yeah.
all have yeah.
Yeah. I saw lots of videos. Looked like a horrible time. So how was that transition to Fanshawe? From that not really high school experience, a little bit of grade 12, and then college.
I mean, in a way, I think it kind of helped
Mm-hmm.
weirdly because it felt like there were a lot of new beginnings. Like
Yeah.
grade 9, you go in and you meet all these new people. Then if you don't keep contact with them, you come back grade 11, you're making all new friends again.
Yep.
And then Fanshawe, all new people. Like I feel like I'm used to restarting
Hmm.
because there were like 3 restarts.
I mean, it's a good skill to have, I think.
It's an
Uh,
upsetting skill to learn, but
yeah,
don't
true. The
care.
process of learning how to do that is
Yeah.
maybe not so great, but the outcome is
Yeah.
you can just kind of move around anywhere and make it work. Did you have any like challenges when you started here?
I mean, for sure. I think 11:59 was a skill I learned during the pandemic, handing things in at 11:59, and then it doesn't really work that way in college.
Yeah.
Like some people still manage it. Actually, they still manage
Hmm.
to hand them in last minute. I can't. Like I had to learn to space it out.
Yeah, I used to be really good at that too when it was stuff like writing a paper or something like that. But I feel like in a lot of programs at Fanshawe, they're very hands-on, very
Yep.
practical. You're creating
You can't
something.
put it off.
No, like we do. I just had a podcast due this week. We had like 4 weeks to do it. Did I do it in those 3 weeks before it? No. Interviews were canceled and like things weren't going well. But it's like just that stress of trying to finish something of that scale in like a day. It really doesn't work.
No, that did happen a few times. I remember there were podcasts, same
Mm-hmm.
thing, podcasts when you have so much to do. And then I think, remember, it was me, another radio student, Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a group, same with Matthew, 3 of us. It was due, trying to do like basically all of the editing. It was a mistake.
Yeah, no, it's honestly terrible. Another good life skill, but like one that you don't really want to learn. So I think, like I was saying, like how people maybe don't think of radio as something that people can go into. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do in this program and what it's all about for our viewers that maybe have no idea what it is beyond talking in the microphone?
Oh no, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes in radio. Like you hear people on air, that's a big part of it. At Fanshawe, we have 2 stations. We have CFRL, which is the local station in the school itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the official one in London, the X. So we do have radio stations, but there are a bunch of different specializations. So first year, you do a bit of everything to
Yeah.
kind of figure out what you want to do, and then you specialize in second year. So there's writing. You're writing all the commercials, all the PSAs. There's promotions if you're ever on site. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had the open house at Fanshawe.
Yep.
That was all promotions. They set that up. And then you have sales. They get the actual clients around London in order to get commercials on the air. Who else? We have podcasting. That's a
Mm-hmm.
course now because podcasting is a growing industry.
Yep.
Who else? I think that's all of them. I apologize to anyone I'm forgetting.
It's quite a lot though, and it's like a really varied, like lots of varied pathways you can take. Which one do you like the most so far?
So far, we've only done one.
Mm-hmm.
We've had one specialization. I'm in announcing. I'm on air. Oh, the one I forgot. Production. The producer would
Okay.
be upset if I forgot about that.
Pretty
I have to
important.
bring him back up. Yeah. No, production's there too. They piece it all together, so they're a big thing to forget. Don't forget about them. Yeah, no, I like announcing. I'm excited for second semester. We get a
Mhm.
second one. We just
Okay.
filled out a whole sheet of like 1 to 5 what you want to do, basically. And they're gonna try
Okay.
and give everyone their number one. Doesn't always work. We'll see.
So you did announcing. What did you choose for your number one for next semester?
It's announcing again, but
Okay.
then we get 2. So the number 2 I chose was sales
Mm-hmm.
because I like the idea of when you set up the promotions.
Yeah.
So you think promotions, but they do a lot of social media stuff, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm like, okay, sales and promotions are kind of like this.
Yeah.
Like they work really closely together. So I'm like, best of both worlds, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So sales, I guess that would be like contacting people, being like,
Yep.
"We'll run your ad if you pay us," that kind of thing.
Yep. And then you fill out, they're called little creative briefs where it's
Mhm.
like, what do you want us advertising? What are you good at? What maybe
Okay.
like, do you have an edge over the other competition? And we'll include that in the commercial. It'll be like, they have great availability. They have great this.
Mm-hmm. What what kind of companies do we tend to get advertising on the radio station?
I'm trying to think.
Like, is it a lot of local stuff?
Oh,
or-
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think the bigger companies probably go to bigger stations, but
Yeah.
like ours is very local, so it's very local based. So
Mhm.
family run businesses, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of nice. Probably not like a huge amount of money raked in from small local businesses, but definitely nice. Now, I think there's a lot of talk about radio being like kind of a dying industry. Apart from I was gonna say apart from people in their cars, like not many people listen to it. But even then, it's like when I'm in the car, I have my phone on Bluetooth. Um, how do you see like the future of radio since it's an industry you're about to go into?
I mean, I think you hear all about it being a dying industry and it's
Mm-hmm.
scary.
Yeah.
But if you look at who listens to it, like it's pretty consistent. Like
Mm-hmm.
listenership, if you grow up with radio,
Yeah.
a lot of people follow through. So
Okay.
like I think it depends on the background. I know there was Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Was it no Rogers? Bell. They had all the stations closed down.
Yeah.
But they sold them to smaller ones. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna focus more on local as well.
Okay.
And that's kind of the key is focusing on the local community, making it a
Mhm.
part of everyday life. Because if it's a big, I don't know how you'd call it, like Bell was a giant company,
Yeah.
they didn't focus on local.
Of
That's
course
why they had
not,
to
yeah.
close. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think that's something that like we have these big media companies. We have Bell, Rogers, Chorus. And yeah, like you said, it's like they're not going to focus on local because I guess to them it's like what's the profit in small local markets? I mean, I think CBC is great for that. It kind of
Oh, yeah.
guarantees you
That's
know, all
their
this
whole,
coverage.
Their whole model is getting stuff from everywhere.
Right. But now we're looking at that possibly going away with our potential next prime minister.
I see.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm hoping that the industry stays really good. I mean, for your sake, as a as a future radio
I mean, for
person.
you too, you're going into journalism.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not. Probably not radio. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? All right. So what has been, apart from your program itself and classes, what are some of the things that you've really enjoyed about being at Fanshawe?
They always have a lot of events. I
Mhm.
haven't gone to too many of them because I've been busy, but I know that because at least my program, I don't know, yours is the same too. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
You have a lot of big programs at Fanshawe,
Very
but
small.
very small. I think we have 18 people right now
Mhm.
in second year radio, and we all know each other.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're like, hey guys, who wants to go do this? Because everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, there's karaoke going on at Forwell Hall. There's, I don't know, there's so much stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely great. I mean, FSU does tons of events. Outback always has great events. Have you had like a favorite thing that you've gone to here?
Which one? Karaoke's always fun.
I love karaoke.
There was a wrestling one, which I had to say wasn't the biggest fan of,
Mm.
just because I'm not a fan of. I don't know. It's the drama of it. Of the
Right?
no, I remember we walked in right, and it was everyone's sitting down, and then they were setting it up, and it was some guy dressed in a Western shirt going, "We have the best women, the best courses," and I went, "I'm out." Not for me.
Oh my
But
God.
karaoke was good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with the wrestling thing. Like, I'd rather watch just a normal fight between two
Yep,
normal people.
literally. Give me
It's-
boxing.
Yeah, boxing, MMA, anything. Enough of the scripts and the characters and the drama. Karaoke, I'm obsessed with karaoke.
What's
What-
your karaoke song?
I was just gonna ask you that. Okay, probably my go-to. I have two go-to karaoke
Okay.
songs. The first one is "Follow Me" by Uncle Cracker.
Okay.
Just an easy one to sing. My second one is "Dragostarinte," the Numa Numa song.
You might be insulted, but I'm sorry.
Okay, again, I forget that I'm older. This
No,
was
we had this discussion.
yeah, this was
Yeah.
a big song in the 2000s, and you should all recognize it. I'm not gonna sing it here, but look it up. Just look up Numa Numa song. You all know it. The Maya He, Maya Hu, Maya Ha.
Before my time.
Oh my
I
God.
wasn't alive then. I'm sorry.
Ooh, oh, no. There's a song that plays on the X. There's
With the
like a sample
Maya
of it.
No,
what's
it's Shakira.
No, there's a sample of it that plays on the X now that just came out. The I Don't Want to Wait. Something. I don't want to wait.
I'm blanking.
Oh my God, it's all over the X. Every day I go in there for a newscast and I hear it. I'm like, this is disgraceful.
It's not the same. It's like, oh, the I'm Good, which is like the remix of
Of
I'm Blue.
Blue, yeah. So it's like your generation is taking our like just trashy pop hits and remaking them, and I feel deep offense at that.
I see.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean-
blaming your whole generation.
All of us. It's all of
Yeah,
our fault.
There's that Country Roads.
I mean, I'd argue
cover,
it's not
like-
our generation changing it.
True, actually, I guess people
It-
are. But it's for
It
for
will
the
be
young
your
kids.
generation changing it for us.
Oh God, okay, just turned it back around on me. Okay, yeah, so my generation is ruining our own pop hits to appeal to the younger generation. It's
Yep.
all just a big scam. So those were my karaoke songs. What are yours?
Okay, I have trouble with finding certain songs because my voice is lower.
Yep.
And the second I try and get higher, I get like squeaky. Like it's really
Me too.
bad. So I need to go for lower songs, which is really difficult because there aren't a lot of low female singers. Like I'll try Lord
Mm-hmm. I can see
or
that.
Take Me to Church.
Yeah.
I like that one, but like that's not one you think of karaoke party. Let's sing Taking Me to Church, you know?
I'm just gonna bring the mood down a bit.
No, that's like the mellow one after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I struggle finding certain songs. Like I like those ones. But like if you ask me to sing Ariana Grande, like you're getting
Oh
an
my God.
octave lower. Like it's not it's not gonna happen.
That would be amazing to hear. Yeah, I think the hardest thing about karaoke, like especially if you want to do like a song that you've never tried before, like you don't know
What
like
it
what
sounds like.
right? You don't know what key it's gonna be in their karaoke list. Like
Yep.
you might be like, oh, I can sing this song in the shower, no problem. But then you put it on karaoke and it comes up and it's like,
All of a sudden, like with the water, it's a lot more like, oh, I don't
yeah,
sound as good as I thought I did.
well, yeah, right. So yeah, I like to go to a karaoke night. Oh, darkness. Um, when like nobody else is there, like a really dead night, and just that's when I try my new things.
Okay, because there's
Yeah.
no one to judge.
Yeah, you got to workshop it.
I see.
It's great. Are there any good karaoke nights around the city that you've gone to?
I haven't. Actually, I'm
Oh.
really disappointed in myself because I told myself I'd go. I haven't this year.
Okay.
Do you know any?
Oh yeah. Um, like sometimes we go to the Well, so it's the gay bar downtown. They have karaoke on Thursdays, and I swear that something in their microphone is like kind of auto tuning you a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually so funny.
I had a drink or two or many and tried to do a Celine Dion song, and I was like, I can't do this. Like even in the shower, I can't do it. But there, it was like I was hitting it.
Like it was perfect.
I mean, perfect is a bit of an overstatement, but it went pretty well. But then I could try the same thing at like Poacher's Arms, where they have the like private karaoke rooms, and it's like no, not happening.
You sure you hadn't had more to drink the first time?
That's a possibility.
Like it could have just sounded better to you, you know? In
I'm
the
gonna-
moment, you're like, I'm great.
right, and it does sometimes. I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna go sober.
Ooh,
gonna-
and we're
yeah.
gonna see you
Yeah.
do karaoke first and then drinks after.
Yeah, I know. I'll do them. I'll do one and then the song again at
Oh,
the end of the
I
night,
see, and you'll
like a
hear
very
it.
controlled study. Yeah, so that's another one. Poacher's Arms has a really good like private karaoke room. So if you get like a big group together, always good. And I went to one last year that was really interesting. I met these guys on the street outside of I think it was the gay bar actually, and they were like, "Oh, come to I think it's London Brewing Co-op or something. It's in the East End. It's like a craft beer place in like a big garage. It's really cool. And they do karaoke on Mondays, but like in the early evening. It's at like
Oh.
6 p.m. or something, so that like older people that have jobs and things like that can go and have fun, but not stay out late.
Okay.
But it was really fun. It was like the most like supportive group of just like an older crowd. Like I went
like
to
cheering you on.
yeah, like I sang Walking in Memphis, and then I had to go pee. So I'm like at the urinal, and this guy comes in. He's like, "That was so good. You should come here more often. Like we've never seen you before." I was like, "Oh, have I just stumbled upon a club here?" It was really sweet. So those are my recommendations. But yeah, all right. So tell me a little bit about your plans for after this year. So your last year. What's next?
That's a scary question.
I know, me too. Like I'm feeling the same.
No, right now I'm still figuring it out
Mm-hmm.
because this is a 2-year program.
Yeah.
There's the opportunity, I know, at least in this program, that you could go to a communications degree in Western,
Oh
and it
yeah.
would only be 2 more years. So it's like you're doing both college and university in
Yep.
like a degree time.
Yeah, with half the money, like pretty much.
But then it's also, do you need a degree for this field? A lot
Yeah.
of people just go to college, so
Mhm.
it's tricky. What do you want to do? Or you could
Mhm.
do another program. Maybe I'll go into journalism.
Maybe. You're
Stop by.
welcome.
Georgia Newman, XFM News.
Yes. Oh, I miss her. I haven't seen her today. Okay, so it's interesting you bring up like the university pathway. I feel like a lot of people these days, like getting a degree, you just get a degree to get a degree. Like you
Yeah.
said, like, do you really need it for this industry?
Yep.
So, and communications.
I know it's like I haven't looked too much into it, so there probably
Mhm.
are pathways for it. But
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but then again, most people don't know radio is a thing, so
Well, yeah.
there's probably are pathways out there. But I'm like, I can't think of what I'd use it for.
Yeah, exactly. To communicate.
To communicate.
I guess.
I'd imagine it'd be more theory based. It's university. Maybe it's more trends,
Mm-hmm.
almost like social media trends. I could see that being a study.
Yeah.
No, any ideas?
No, I'm blanking. Like,
No.
um, but yeah. So I get this. It's a daunting time. I'm going through the same thing, trying to figure out what's next. Do you have any kind of personal goals for the next few years, personal or professional? Anything you just want to accomplish?
I do want to try getting on a radio station. I know that's what I'm in for. I'm not sure what I'm going to do once I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you kind of got to work your way into it. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people start with promotions,
Yeah, I've seen
promotional
that.
work. Yeah. But like, I feel like I got to try it. I've already been in the
Mhm.
X, got to see it in real world.
Yeah, gotta go dive in. Yeah, I always see lots of job postings for radio stations for like the kind of events teams and like people that go around in the
Streeters, yep.
yeah, or like in the cars, and you see them at like booths at events. So is that kind of like the starting point then?
I think a lot of stations it is. You start at
Mm-hmm.
promotions and then you work your way into a show if you do
Mm-hmm.
well on the on site stuff. That's typically how it goes.
So one thing that I've kind of thought about radio, and unfortunately it's the same for my industry as well, is that like the prime time, like the slot that you want to be in to get the most listeners and probably the most money is early morning.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I think I'll have to become a morning person.
Yeah, right.
I think it's not too bad once you get used to it. I will
Mhm.
say, I know we have different shifts on the X.
Yep.
I've been on the morning with you.
Yes.
And I feel like the energy always starts so high and then it kind of decreases throughout the week. But I think that's because after I'm coming off of an
Mhm.
evening shift.
Yeah.
So it's such a switch. I think once you're used to going to bed early, it's just another day.
True. Yeah. So like Mara's saying it for the radio students, they go on like a week to week kind of rotation. So you'll have 1 week of mornings and 1 week of evenings or whatever it is. For us, we're there on 7 week rotations. So I'm on week 7 of the morning shift. So you arrive at like 6 a.m. It's terrible, but you're right. Like you kind of get used to it. Like now on the weekend, I want to sleep in, but I can't. I want to go out on the weekend with my
It'll ruin
friends.
your whole
I
sleep
can't.
schedule if you do.
It is. It's terrible. It's like 7 weeks, no social life. Um, how do you think you would balance that if you had to get used to like just doing a morning show for a long time?
I think you need to find bars that have karaoke at 6 p.m.
Exactly. London Brewing Co-op, I think it's called, and find other morning people. I guess. Yeah.
No, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people work morning shift. You just got to find them.
Exactly. You can have dinners at like 3 p.m. and cocktails at 4, bed by 7 o'clock.
I mean, it'd be an adjustment, but I think it's doable. A lot of people do it. We just don't see them because we're night people right now.
Yeah, right. And I mean, night people as well. Like, I don't think I could work like overnights for a long period of time
That's
either.
true.
That would be just as hard. Think about I'm already pale, and then I would just be a vampire. Yeah, no, it's a rough time. So for anybody who could be like considering moving into radio or like transferring or something like that, what advice would you give them?
It's an adjustment. There's a lot of work that goes to it that you don't always see. Again, if you're trying to make it really big in the industry, you're gonna have to adjust your sleep schedule. It's a life change as well. It's your career. It's what you're doing every day, but it's really fun. So just go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely a really cool sounding program. I've seen you guys kind of do what you do, and it looks daunting. I mean, all the soundboard, all the programs you have up, it's a lot, but it's fun.
It is.
It is.
You get a dance in the studio.
True. That is something that they don't tell you.
Unless you can't see it, so it's fine. Just get a party
Exactly.
in the studio, listen to music.
All right. So my final question for you, Mara. What are your plans for the holiday?
Holiday. Oh, I'm gonna sleep in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep in, hang out with friends who I haven't seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
All the way for school. And yeah, gonna need a holiday shop. That's big on my list.
That's big. Like Christmas shopping, presents,
yep.
that kind of stuff.
I'm behind.
Do you have a big family or something?
I mean, usually I leave it late.
Yeah.
I'm not as bad as Christmas Eve, but like solid December 15th is if I start.
Yeah.
And I'm every year it's the leaving it to the last minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it this year. I've learned better.
Yeah, exactly. Treat it just like your radio assignments.
Exactly.
No 11:59s.
Set deadlines, have this person's done by this day. Just work from there.
See, my family, we just like canceled Christmas presents, the presents aspect. We do the dinner, but we canceled presents probably when I was a teenager. We're like, we're just not doing this anymore.
Too much pressure. You're like,
Yeah, too much pressure, too much money. Like it's the amount of money you spend. It's just not worth it. It made Christmas just too stressful. Um, but still, it's a happy time. All right, for the entire. Oh God, we'll do a little cut there. um, So everyone, this was Mara Vickers, a radio student at Fanshawe in her second year. Thanks for coming on today, Mara.
thanks for having me.
Anytime. Make sure to catch up on other episodes of the Red Couch podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts from. And don't forget to pick up the latest copy of the Interrobang from the newsstands around campus. For the Interrobang, I'm Jack Sutton.